My name is Devin Maurer. I am 39 years old, born in 1985. I was born in Scotland, but I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah for pretty much most of my life. So I grew up in a single-parent family. I was, to start, I was about 9 years old. I had my stepfather and my mother, and my stepfather was an abusive alcoholic. He's also very bipolar and didn't like to take his meds. So there was a lot of abuse for me as a child, being the middle child. My little sister never experienced it. My older brother never experienced it. But my stepfather, for some reason, had it out for me, and he did it in ways where you wouldn't see bruises or, any of that kind of stuff. And I had such a fear of him that I never told anybody, pretty much until adulthood. I never told anyone. So my early childhood was pretty traumatic, pretty rough, but after my mom, got us away from my stepfather, my childhood was pretty amazing. My mom was a rock star. She worked 3 jobs, put herself through night school, ended up going to nursing school and then moving on to be a nurse practitioner. She did all that, raising 3 kids. My mom was a rock star when it came to that kind of thing. Later on in life, it got a lot better. I was a straight-A student in high school. I ended up playing baseball, scholarshiping to the University of Utah, played 4 years for them. I ended up moving on, playing AAA ball. I played for the Salt Lake City Buzz and the Louisville River Bats. In fact, for most of my life, I've pretty much done everything you're supposed to do in order to, prepare yourself, for later in life, do all the right things. I became homeless because I lost my wife and my unborn child to cancer. My wife was diagnosed 3 months after we found out she was pregnant. And they told her in order for her to do chemo and treatment and be able to have a chance, she had to have an abortion, and she pretty much just gave up at that point. And I can't fault her for that, and I don't fault her for that. That's a tough decision for anybody. So I just kind of had to sit by and watch her go, and it was quick, about 3 months, and she was, it was pretty terrible. But and then COVID hit, and I was spiraling out of control, after losing my wife, and I wound up down here in Albuquerque, and I ended up getting arrested and being in jail. While I was in jail, I got a phone call to tell me that my mother had passed away from COVID, that I wasn't going to be able to be released for a funeral because they don't release the bodies of people that die of COVID, which sucks because my mom, being medical, and she worked around COVID every day. And then all of a sudden, she was a healthy female, and all of a sudden she dies of COVID, crazy. And then my younger sister, I get a call, 2 weeks after that, I get a call about my younger sister telling me she died of COVID. Again, told I'm not going to be released for, for furlough to have a funeral or anything. There was no closure. So, my life pretty much was just gone like that. In the span of a year, I lost everybody that I loved. And when I finally got released from jail, and it was over some tickets that I had like years and years and years ago that I never took care of. It was the whole reason I actually was even in jail. I have no criminal record. I'm not a felon. I have battled, off and on with drug addiction. I was hand-fed painkillers, all throughout my baseball career, through team trainers and stuff. So I had an opiate addiction for 10 years and they were all, prescription. They were my prescriptions. So I actually, was an addict 10 years, but without even knowing I was an addict. So the last couple of years I've been out here on the street because I basically gave up, and honestly, who wouldn't, after doing everything you're supposed to do and then having it all taken from you and then just expected to go on, I pretty much had enough of it and just gave up, really, and I've done so without being a thief, without stealing, I'm allowed in every store. I don't steal, I just pretty much gave up on life and decided to beat myself up all the way down. 6-month rehab program that I completed successfully. I have relapsed a couple of times, so I'm on again, off again. I'm not fully blown into drugs anymore, but I do have moments, you know, of weakness where I, you know, and then I go back to meetings and I do, you know, those sort of things. I do have bipolar. I have bipolar depression and depression and PTSD and a slew of other things, but that would be, you know, the main ones. Mostly used as far as drugs are concerned out here, you see meth and fentanyl use. So I'm treated pretty badly most often. As I said, I don't steal, have no criminal record. I'm not a violent person. You know, I help everybody I can, even though I don't really have anything to help with. I still help, you know, as much as I can for people. And I get it. People, you know, a lot of people have done a lot of really bad things, you know, in my situation to cause there to be, you know, a reason for the treatment. But as far as my personal treatment, I mean, I get treated like a thief and a drug addict and a slew of other things that honestly I didn't earn, you know. And as far as the worst thing that's been done to me, I've been kidnapped. I've been driven out miles and miles and miles out past, I think it's 9 Mile, I think they call it. Had my shoes taken and left to walk back based on mistaken identity. Somebody thought I was somebody else. So the nicest thing somebody's ever done for me, this lady struck up a conversation with me. I just happened to say hi to her. How are you? How's your day going? Because I do that with everybody. And so she reciprocated the conversation, and it was a back and forth. It was a really good conversation. And at the end of it, she tells me, oh, hey, I forgot to give you some money. And I'm like, well, I thought we were just having a nice conversation. You know what I mean? I wasn't panhandling or anything. I just happened to, in passing by, I happened to say hi to her. And she handed me an envelope that had $562 in it. I mean, there's a lot of different things as far as staying warm and where we stay. I try and keep myself out of trouble, so there's very few places I can stay that aren't trespassing. So with me and my wife, because I'm remarried now, but me and my wife, we stay somewhere different every night. It's an opportunity, so it's where the area we're in, or, you know, a lot of times it'll be a half hour to an hour cat nap sitting up on a sidewalk, to be honest. As far as what I think of Albuquerque, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, so the landscape of Albuquerque is very beautiful. It reminds me of where I grew up. For the most part, the people here are really good, genuinely good people. I mean, I've met both sides of it, really bad people, really good people. All in all, though, as far as Albuquerque is concerned, I do like Albuquerque quite a bit. But as anywhere, I could say good and bad things. But for the most part, Albuquerque is a pretty cool place. Just keep your head up and don't give up, because I mean, it'll get hard. Life will get really hard, and no matter what, just keep your head up and just remember to keep your faith, whether it be in God, whether it be in the universe, or whatever your higher power or your creator, whatever you believe in. Just hold on to that faith no matter what, because it's what's going to pull you through. Man, I try and bounce all over quite a bit, just to not, you know, be an issue for anybody. I don't like us to, you know, be burdens on anybody, so I kind of bounce around quite a bit. But I mean, mostly I would say off Manal and Wansabo, near the Denny's up there is kind of where we like to. People are really nice to us over in that area, or over near the Academy Walmart. People are pretty nice to us over there. We get treated pretty decently, so we like to kind of stick near those areas. You know, try and give everybody a fair chance, you know, because I've had a lot of bad things done to me, and a lot of them were undeserved. So just try and take it case by case. I understand, you know, there's a big problem with homeless people, and I totally get it. But you know, just understand that, you know, we go through a lot on the day-to-day. Like, I mean, just survival's a 24-hour-a-day job, and trying to do it without being, you know, a bad person is even harder. So, you know, just, you know, maybe just try and take it on a case-by-case basis if you can, because, yeah, it could be the difference between somebody taking their life, honestly. And, you know, I recently decided to start trying to live, you know, actually live life and get back on my feet. And man, if I didn't dig myself a big old hole. But that's pretty much, you know, my story and where I come from.